Hey guys, welcome back. The rust repair in the front of the car is all done. The only thing left to do is pull the hood off, scrape off all of that old undercoating, and do one small dent repair under the Plymouth emblem on the hood. Other than that, the front of the car is done. So it's time to move our attention to what is left of the floor in this Duster. We've got a brand new AMD floor pan that we're going to put in this car. So let me get you in here and we'll get started. So before I get you in the car, here's the new AMD floor pan. It's a beautiful piece. Can't wait to get this thing in there. There's the part number. All right, let me get you inside the car here. If you watch the interior gut episode, you know what we're in for here. It's bad. And that's why I ordered a full pan, because I just think that it'll be the cleanest way to repair this damage. If you recall, we've got some scale and some rust through up in the front of the toe board here on both sides. The passenger side's the worst. So we'll deal with that. But first things first, we've got to strip out all of this old floor pan. So we're going to get busy with that. But the first thing we want to do is take out these wire guards on both sides. Got to take these out. They're welded to the floor pan. So we'll take these out. You can see on the driver's side that one's damaged. Very similar. That happens. In fact, I had to repair two of them on the Charger as well. But we'll pull these out. We'll cut them out. They just bend over. And then there's these metal tabs that are welded to them. And they just, there's not a hinge. It's just metal that bends over. So we'll repair those. You can see this one's toast as well. We might even just make new ones. Anyhow, we got to pull those out. We got to pull the kick panels out. We need to deal with the glass, the quarter glass, for two reasons. One, we can't be welding and grinding in this car with glass that we want to save exposed to all of that. You'll end up with terrible pitting. So never do that. I'm not worried about the back window. We know from a previous episode that it's got damage on the driver's side over there. So I'm not going to worry about this glass. It's going to get replaced anyway. And I might have to replace the windshield, if you recall. So I'm not worried about the windshield, but I am worried about the quarter glass and even the door glass in here. We've got to protect that because sparks will get in here and they'll put little pits in that glass and you'll regret it later. So for the door glass, we're just going to roll it all the way up. We're going to masking tape it and then we'll roll it back down and that will keep it protected. The quarter glass, we could just mask it out, but at least one side's got to come out because that's the only way that floor plan is going to get in here. We need about 64 inches of length in order to squeeze it in here. And the only way that's happening is if that quarter glass comes out. So we're going to start by taking at least the passenger side out. I may just tape up the driver because there's no need to take it out right now. Of course, we'll pull the wiring out. The dash will stay in here. The shifter has to come out and probably the linkage. Once the floor is out, we're going to save this hump because it's still in great shape, and we'll tack it into the new floor pan so that I can still run and drive the car with the existing transmission in there. We know that with the 6-speed transmission with the Gen 3 Hemi, I think it's the 6060, I'm going to have to modify this tunnel to make everything fit anyway, including the torsion bar cross member. But that's not a problem for today. Right now, we want to get this new floor in and weld it in securely, and then we'll modify it later to fit the trans that's going to go in the car. So anyway, probably not going to record the time I'm taking out the kick panels, taking out these wire guards, just getting the car stripped. I will turn the camera back on when we're going to get ready to cut this floor out, and you can watch the fun that entails. Okay, so I'll pick you back up when I'm ready to start cutting this floor out. Okay, she's all gutted. Glass is protected. You can see the door glass is all protected too. I did go ahead and protect the dash, although I'm not going to use it anyway. I just thought, well, I'm here. Even the mirrors, rear view mirror, and of course this glass here. So I left the shift linkage and shifter in just in case I need to move the car. That will have to come up before the new floor comes in, but for now, just to keep this drivable with a milk crate if necessary. Like if I want to get the charger out, whatever. All right, so I'm gonna set you up. We'll time lapse this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and get this floor cut out, and then we'll get you in to see what's left. Okay, just taking a little break. Thought I'd get you in here and show you what things are looking like. A couple things to note. Along this back piece here, this piece here is just part of that rear seat pan. It comes down and folds under. It's really kind of a bad design because the floor pan comes up like this, spot welds to here, and it leaves this cavity in between the two pans that does have a drain, but of course it's got a rubber stop in there. So this was full of garbage and junk, so not really a great design. However, this side looks fine. I think we're going to be good here. Here's the end of the frame rail, by the way. This side looks good. The other side, though, is not. It's pretty weak. You can see here that metal is really thin. Rust has gotten to it, so we're going to have to replace this. And that's not too big of a deal, except for that right there. You know, to recreate that, it's going to be a little tricky. So we'll have to cross that bridge. But what I will end up doing is bringing the cut probably right like this, all the way across, flat across. And so this will stay, and the new floor pan will be trimmed, and it will sit right on this ledge all across here, and we'll do a lap weld on that. I think that'll be the easiest way to have that just sit in here nice. I won't have to worry about taking these off for the rear seat hold down and then welding them onto the right spot. This is all good metal up in here, so I don't think I need to be worried about taking all that off. Could change my mind, but I think that'll stay. But I do need to get this cut out. I need to get better access back in here and make sure that I can repair that. What else? Over here, we've got a weak area in the inner rocker right here, so I'm gonna have to put a pretty decent patch in here. And you can see that this bracket as well has rusted through. So we're gonna have to do some bracket repair on this. We'll have to first wire wheel it, get it all clean, and then I'll deal with that. The rest of the brackets look to be okay once they get wire wheeled and cleaned, except for this one, which looks like it got hold of, I don't know if someone hooked something to it or hit the ground or a rock or something, but it's been tweaked back. So I've just got to bend that back and weld that tab back on to repair that. Inside, all the frame rails look really good. They need to be cleaned up, obviously. I'll wire wheel all in here, and then I'll do a rust fix, and then I'll do an undercoating in here. What is really interesting over here is just how much garbage was, all dirt, stones, debris. I mean, it just will eat the inside of that frame rail. Thankfully, it hasn't. We've got to get that cleaned out really, really well. Again, we'll wire wheel all in here and rust fix it. This piece that comes down from the engine bay, that's scaly as well, so I'm going to end up trimming that and putting a new piece here to that spot there. This is where the floor pan starts to separate from the frame rail, so that's why they do that. Of course, I've got to go through all the edge of the floor and now get the last bit, because I left the last inch or so along the whole outer edge of the floor pan. So that has to be done yet. What else? Well, I think that's it. I don't know that there are any more surprises. But lots of work still to do to take the remaining 1-inch edge all the way around. Lots of work to clean up all these rails, fix the brackets, and repair that inner rocker. And then, of course, while I'm in here and I have such great access, I'm going to use the heat gun and my scraper, and also the air filer scraper Let's just take off all this undercoating while we're in here. It'll be easier to do it here while it's like this than later on when it's up on the hoist. So there you go. There's a look inside. I'm gonna take a little break and then we're gonna come back and finish stripping this all out. Oh, one more thing. Some of you might be wondering about bracing the car while I've pulled all this floor out, because of course it does form part of the structure of the car, being a unibody. However, because of the state of this car, the strength of the rockers, the strength of the frame rails, including that torsion bar crossmember, and the fact that it's a hardtop, gives already the strength I need, because it has the box around the window, it has the A-pillar and cowl, and then across the back, all to keep that strength there. So it should not be an issue taking this floor out and putting it back in. Just wanted to mention that in case you were wondering about bracing. If that torsion bar crossmember was gone, rotted out, and like this car was a lot worse shape, frame rails, etc., then I'd be concerned about it and I'd put bracing in and be more careful with it. But it's a solid car, so I'm not too worried about that. And here's all the steel that came out. Well, what's left of steel. And this is the hump that we'll reuse. We'll get that cleaned up, wire wheeled, and we'll separate it from the rest of the floor pan. And I will, as I said, tack that onto the new floor pan over there. And we'll stay until I get the new transmission and get everything in the car so I can test fit and cut the tunnel to fit the new training. Okay, change of plans. I'm going to take the rest of this floor pan off. I want to get further underneath here and make sure this is all cleaned out, wire wheel, rust fixed, and then prepped before that new pan goes on. It's probably fine, but look, I'm in here. Now's the time to do it, right? So I've scribed off a line on each side of the floor plan that's staying, and I'll measure from the edge to the edge of the bracket. So these brackets don't come on the new floor pan, so I've just got to make sure I've got measurements from the side of the car and then from a point up here that I can rely on not going away, so that when the new pan's on, I can come in here and I can spot weld these back on here. So I'm going to go ahead and measure those up, take a few pictures, and we're going to get busy taking off the rest of the floor pan. Okay, I've got updates. And for those wondering if not bracing the car would have created a problem when taking the floor out, you can see this car has a door gap there that's exactly right, and just like it was before I took the floor out. I think that's possible really because of this car and the solid bones it has. If you're working on a car that doesn't have good strong rockers and rails, then yeah, I'd brace it up. But this one Didn't need that. So here's where we're at. Everything is wire wheeled and all cleaned up. You can see this spot is not, and that's because this is going to be our first repair area. This is going to be a whole new piece going in this area. You can see the weak spot over there. So we'll put a whole new piece in here. Shouldn't be too hard. I'm going to do away with the 2 drain holes. And I'll come out over here and I'll delete these drain holes as well so that it looks the same underneath. And over here, again, you can see everything is all cleaned up nice. We've got a repair here. Again, just a square 18 gauge patch done on this bracket. Another square patch needs to go in here. And over here, it's all cleaned up. You can see, you might not recognize, but there used to be a plate that from here came all the way down and went to about this area here. I've taken that out because it was fairly rotten. That allowed me to get better access into the frame rail and do some better cleaning in there. And so I'll just put a new plate on here. It's about 5 inches or so, 18 gauge, weld it up, do plug welds on these areas here, and that'll close that up the way it should be from factory. The same thing on the passenger side. Otherwise, I would say the only other area that I've noticed, and it was because of the way that this floor pan was rotten at the front, I've got a weak area in this frame rail. Well, it's the torsion bar cross member. Right here is weak. And so I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to put a C-shaped 16 gauge bracket in here and weld that in solid so that this has all the strength it needs. And then once the floor is in and I'm able to work on this car on the hoist, I'm going to come underneath here and I'm going to cut the bottom off of this frame rail or torsion bar cross member, and I'm going to put a new piece in here, weld it all up, grind it, because this piece, about 6 inches of it from the floor that was rotten, had just a whole bunch of decay in here from debris sitting in here and moisture collecting. So this is the worst spot that I've found in any part of the major structure of the car. So not a big deal to fix, but I will do those 2 things to clean that up. Otherwise, rail's really clean over here. You can see the toe board is a real mess. So we will replace and put a piece in that will go from here up to about there, straight over and down, over here and down. So that's a big piece to replace. It shouldn't be difficult, but it's just unfortunate that that toe board is so far gone. Again, because of those vinyl mats that were in here, the vinyl flooring. Up here, of course, is good. You'd expect that. This area of the frame rail, just mint. Again, you'd expect that because it's up high. Moisture's not collecting up here. And then this toe board, again, the same thing. Just the same problem. So what we will do is this, again, a piece that will probably come up here, probably all the way up, and then straight over. I'll put this shape into the piece, and then I'll bring it down through here and down. It will have the same lip, the same bend here. I'll delete this though. I don't think I need to worry about putting that shape into the new piece. There's nothing behind this that, if you know what that might have been for an A body, you let me know. Otherwise, I think I can get away with deleting that. So that'll be a flat area there, but that toe board as well has to get replaced. Again, that's going to be a bit of work. A little repair right here. I think that's just from the air chisel. Way to go, Tom. And you can see this frame rail over here is, again, just mint. And look over here. It's just awesome. So we're good there. So that's those repairs, and then working my way over here, I will have a little miscellaneous drill holes that I've done here for spot welds. I was drilling them out. So before the new pan comes in here, I'll come in here and I'll weld this up, grind it flat, and make that all go away. Got a small repair here from that's me getting a little happy with the cutoff wheel, and then working my way over here. Everything is fine. So on this back pan, as I said, the only thing that I'll do, because this one is solid, is I'm going to delete this. So I'll put a piece in from here up to there like that, and I'll just weld a plug into here and grind that flat. So the two sides will look the same. See a couple little holes up here that I've got to fill in as well, just minor stuff before the new pan goes in I've got to address. So that's it. That's how things are looking. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply some rust fix from Duplicolor all inside these frame rails. We'll get that all treated, and then I will likely put some primer back in here. Once the car is painted underneath, just like the Charger, I'll use 3M cavity wax. If you don't know what that is or haven't used it before, I'll throw a link or a picture up in the top corner here. It's awesome. Works great. It will preserve the frame rails from any further rust because it encapsulates all of the surfaces. So we'll do that, but I will rust fix it. We'll probably primer it, and that'll be all I'll do. I'm not going to put undercoating or anything like that in there. And there we go. Big job to get that all cleaned up. There you go. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Come back next week. We're going to get busy on the floor repairs here. Until then, cheers.